Whether you got the cape or the armor, either way, this one's going to be pretty ultimate. Hello toy fans, I'm here with another one of our toy openings. This has been in my box of things to open for a while, and I'm not sure why I kept passing them up, but seeing as I really got into my Masterverse, New Eternia He-Man, and there's a New Eternia Skeletor on the way, I said, you know what, I really do need to look at some of my Masters figures and kind of get them on my toy shelf and get to finally getting around to opening them and enjoying them for what they are, which are toys. Now today I come with you with the Ultimate Warrior, the heroic champion of WWE Eternia. This was one of those in the last few waves of figures of the Masters of the WWE Universe, and I really loved this line. And I was really sad to see not only it leaving before it really hit its prime with a lot of the characters, but also finding a really hard distribution. There were so many figures I wanted that I never even found in my area, and it made me really upset. One of the things I noticed though is a lot of the figures, when I finally got around to seeing them at conventions, they were pricing out at high commodity prices of $50, $60, and sometimes $100 depending on who it was. So at this point, whatever I have in my box and on shelf, that's going to be it. And I seriously doubt I'm going to come across another one of these at retail at an affordable price. But seeing as this might be my last one, I figured, you know what? Let's end the ultimate way with the Ultimate Warrior. Now this is the second run of the Ultimate Warrior. The first run of the Ultimate Warrior had him in his traditional Ultimate Warrior colors of the bright fluorescence, orange, greens, blues, etc. This one, however, is going to be in more the New World Order sort of look. We've got whites, reds, grays, and even blacks. Now he is featured here on this bubble, and this is a classic Masters Universe style bubble. This is something that they were doing with the Origin figures in order to kind of pay homage back to the Masters of the Universe toys when they were coming out. So we're getting this with Origins. We get the same thing with the Masters of the WWE Universe. Up there at the top it does say that it's Ultimate Warrior, heroic champion of WWE Eternia, and he boasts a high articulated for power posing. Yes, I do love these cards because they're reminiscent of Masters, except they're done in the purples with the exploding rocks, and a lot like the Masters Universe, but done in the WWE or WWF sort of logo style up there. Let's head to the back. On the back, we do get this nice picture of the Ultimate Warrior bursting out of his pod. It says, load the spaceship with rocket fuel. All the fuses and exit signs have been burnt out. There's no place to run. The power of the Ultimate Warrior will always prevail. So I kind of like this because he's almost like the Zodak sort of character. He's like the big neutral that's really going to put everyone in their place. It does say it includes a collector's booklet. We'll take a look at that. We do see over here we got to remove the Warrior's ultimate harness, and we can twist into powerful battle positions. This one, unlike the first one had a spear that he was with, but did not have a cape. This one has a cape. So very heroic. We do get some cross-sell art here. We got Goldberg, the heroic human jackhammer, Kane, the demonic red machine, Stephanie McMahon, the evil billion-dollar skull queen. And of course we get Ultimate Warrior, the heroic champion of WWE Eternia. Now that's all I gotta say about the Ultimate Warrior inside the packaging. There's really nothing else to say about this figure. If we want to learn more, we gotta get this one out and get to our suplex. And straight out of the package, this is the Ultimate Warrior, the last wave figure that we got, and it looks great. I noticed that there was something about the cape that I wanted to point out. I ended up knocking down almost half my collection trying to get to this one piece. So sometimes, like when you get a collection up and it's super full, you take one thing down and it knocks waves of figures down. It's so aggravating. But I found the piece and I can compare and confirm my suspicion on it. But we'll get into that here in a minute. So out of the package, of course, this is the Ultimate Warrior, and he's got some really nice stuff. We do have this piece here. This is a remake or reuse of the piece from the John Cena figure that came with the WWE tourney. I think it was like the Castle Grayskull style ring. A lot of these pieces we've seen these forearms here. This was actually with Roman Reigns' figure. And then of course we got a reuse of parts even with the these bands here for the knees, the wraps around the arms, which Mr. T also used, and the Ultimate Warrior used in the beginning, and even these boot pieces here that the Ultimate Warrior used in the first release, along with the same head. So this really is just a reissue of what we've had before. Now, as far as articulation, if you're not familiar with the Origin toys, they were pretty good. The Masters of the WW Universe were just the same, okay? So you had the ball jointing up here in the shoulders. You had, this one's kind of a bit of a tough ball jointing here in the elbows. You had the ball jointed wrist, swivel waist, a ball jointed head. See if I can get this elbow over here to work correctly. Yeah, there we go. And then, of course, you had some ball jointed hips. You had it's a ball jointed type knee, which this one seems to be hindered because of that, or it might actually just be because of the legs. This one's been in package for a while. There we go. And then you had the swivel boots, and then you had, it was a type of a ball rocker sort of foot there. So there's quite a bit of posability. What made these unique is that you could pop arms out and plug them in. You could switch out arms as needed. You could take off a lot of these pieces and use them for other things, which I know my kid, his bucket is full of different parts and pieces because he has them all mixed up. But that's how you got the armor off. You could also pop off the head, and that's how you would get the armor pulled up over this, and then you could also pull them off at the waist, and that's how you could take the armor off the torso. For us, however, what he comes with is his cape. So we'd put his cape on like this and pop his head on. Now I'm going to go ahead and say it doesn't fit very well. I love the figure. I love the look of him. But this cape doesn't exactly fit. And the reason why I say it's because there's a hindrance between his hair and the cape. Now, the same problem that I had with the cape with the other figure that this particular cape came with, and you know what? Let's show that. Let's show that cape right here. So if you're familiar, a lot of these pieces were reused with the Masters of the Universe Classics. This was a line that Scott Knight, the toy guru, was the brand manager of, and he brought us some really cool pieces. One of those was Vicor, the Mark Taylor style, concept drawing of He-Man from early back in the day. And he came with this cape. Now, I don't really care much for this cape on that particular toy just because there's an issue with the back of his head and this cape working together. And this is an absolute reuse of that cape. Now, the Classics version was very stiff. This one is a little bit more pliable, and it has less paint app than the Classics version. However, it does still kind of has that issue of really fitting on his head the right way. It doesn't really quite fit the way I think it should. It does make it stand out really far. Now with him also, he has this really cool mini comic, and we can see that there's the Fiend over here, there's the Jake the Snake that, both of these I never found. and some of the dinosaur things, because it's supposed to be like the Preternia sort of story. Ooh, and we get this really cool story here. So we got the Ultimate Warrior. It's part of the Great Battle. Of course, you get the New World Order Macho Man with Stephanie McMahon. And he comes in to bring down the power on these fools. Pretty awesome. And the thing is that they're like one page, but you get, a bio, and then you get one page of story, and it works for what we're getting with this. Still got the cross-sell art, and it's a nice callback to the vintage toy, which I dig. Now, all in all, I really like this figure. I think he's a fun figure. I love the fact that they're, hitting this part of the WWF like history with the Ultimate Warrior. The colors on him look outstanding. The reuse of the Ultimate Warrior kind of Bat Warrior emblem repeated over looks really nice, and he definitely fits the part. When I look at this, I'm not confused on who it is at all. Like, they really nailed the character, which is what they did with a lot of these figures. I think the cape is a little bit of a miss, because it's something that I really feel like he could have probably used a soft goods cape instead. Something that wasn't quite so rigid, and definitely something that didn't mesh with the hair. Because of the fact that he's got that hair, and you try to put a cape on it, it's no wonder that the cape came in the back of the package as an accessory. Instead, maybe instead of the cape, maybe we could have just, rehad the spear, but now the spear in a different color. Maybe black or red, but I'm not quite sure about this cape. He also comes with 2 fists, and I like the fist, but if you want him to hold anything, you're going to be trading out with someone else and hoping that their skin color is actually going to mesh. Because one of the things that I really enjoyed about the WWE Universe is that you got a whole run of different wrestlers from different nationalities and different races, and so you got a lot of skin tone play. But also means that when you're sharing parts between one figure and another, you might not get the same skin tone. And so for him, not having a hand that grips anything seems kind of a loss, because maybe we would have wanted him to have a tool from one of the other characters that he could have used to battle with. And maybe even one of those where it's like, well, we could have maybe put like the Triple H's, claw hands on and let him, go and battle with those. But again, the fists kind of stand in the way of him being able to do that. All in all, I think he's a good figure, and I really do kind of miss these toys, seeing them on shelves and, seeing them out on pegs and being able to get them. And it's one of those that if you weren't able to get some of these back in the day, I'm truly sorry, because they are so much fun. I've got both rings and a good set of the figures, not complete waves, but a good set of them, because again, in my area, they kind of suffer from distribution. It's not something you were able to find all the characters, and unfortunately for me, in many cases, when I would find a character that I didn't have, I was either struggling with money, or the package was gone, or it was actually in someone's hand as they were walking away. So I'd have liked to, seen more of these back in the day and have them out on more shelves. But for some reason, we didn't quite get them in all the areas like we wanted to. But if you do get a hold of some of these, they are absolutely fun. If you're a wrestling fan, it makes it even that much better. Now that's all I got to say about the Ultimate Warrior from Masters of the WWE Universe. Remember, they're not dolls. In this case, it's a action figure that should have had a soft goods cape. I guess that could have made him like a doll, right? When I'm not recording videos here on YouTube, I'm actually over on a podcast on marvindogmedia.com called Talking Toys with Taylor and Jeff. It's a really cool toy podcast. Be sure to check it out. Also, I need your help getting my YouTube channel to grow. Be sure to subscribe down below with that big red button. Hit that bell for notifications so you can be alerted of anything that comes from me to you. Like this video, it helps YouTube know that you like what I'm making, and comment down below. I like chatting with you all.